A Manhattan grand jury has, in fact, indicted former President Trump, and we now know what's in the indictment.
Mr. Bragg, Garrett Hake with NBC News. Your predecessor took a hard look at this case and decided not to charge it. Federal prosecutors took a hard look at this case and decided not to charge it. Do you believe you have new evidence that led you to decide to charge this, or why now?
Well, as I just mentioned, we have had available to the office additional evidence that was not in the office's possession prior to my time here. And as to your part of your question about the federal, we have a distinct and strong, I would say profound, independent interest in New York State. This is the business capital of the world. We regularly do cases involving false business statements. The bedrock, in fact, the basis for business integrity and a well-functioning business marketplace is true and accurate record keeping. That's the charge that's brought here, falsifying New York State business records.
As we have discussed, when Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg entered office, he reportedly declined to pursue charges against Trump. This prompted two prosecutors described as leading the Manhattan DA's criminal investigation of Trump. It prompted these two to resign. One of them, Mark Pomerantz, wrote a book claiming that Trump committed felonies, including a $130,000 payment to a former porn star. But get this, in an NPR interview, Pomerantz conceded, and I'm quoting, "I am not suggesting to you that there were no legitimate reasons to stand down. People could conclude that bringing the case and losing the case would promote enormous disrespect for the law," end of quote. Now, this legal double standard has not gone unnoticed.
Why don't we know what Joe Biden did with Hunter Biden? Why don't we know how he's been compromised financially with respect to the doings of his son? Why isn't Hunter Biden under arrest? Why has it taken 3+ years for us to figure out that Hunter Biden's committed crimes with respect to drugs and guns, and he lied explicitly on his gun application form and so on? In the case of Joe Biden, it's because they won't investigate. They have refused to look into him in this relationship. And in the case of Hunter Biden, we have no answers. We don't know why. And so it's hard to get worked up about the Donald Trump subpoena. That's where I am on it. It's really hard to get worked up because it's a double standard.
And a Trump lawyer says Alvin Bragg may have his own problems because it is a felony to leak the contents of an indictment.
Let's remember that the real crime here that we have is that DA Bragg did leak that there were 30 to 34 counts. We already know that. That in itself is a felony. You are not to let that go. So at this point, I mean, and I like everybody in this country to be treated the same no matter who you are.
We don't know if the DA leaked that information. That is speculation.
Well, we don't have that information. So, well, it's not speculation. We don't have the information. So it came from their office.
My guest says an attack on Trump is an attack on America. He's also the author of a new book, The Final Battle, The Next Election May Be Our Last. Please welcome the president of the David Horowitz Freedom Center, David Horowitz. David, what's new in this indictment? I have it right here in my baby brown libertarian fingers. What's new in the indictment?
None. Look, the thing is, first of all, instead of calling it, do you know that there's a congressional fund of hush money to protect congressmen and women when they're accused of sexual harassment by their staff?
Right. I heard about that. That's right.
So it was a non-disclosure agreement. Let's take the sensational stuff off. And the statute of limitations ran out 5 years ago. So the only way they can charge him under this using, and this is the whole basis for the charge, is by linking him to a felony. And what they've chosen is, it was when he reimbursed Michael Cohen, who paid off. Well, she denies it. They deny, this. Who knows what the truth is here? But it's such trivia. What they did is you enter it in a ledger and you put it under lawyer's fees, which it's a reimbursement. It's pretty innocuous, anything. And every month, every new month that it's on the ledger is another felony. His 34 felonies are the same. That's how weak this case is, and it's all underpinned. The only if what Trump did was to interfere with an election campaign, because there was an election campaign on, and the charge is that he's hiding it from his voters, whereas it's much more likely that the accurate reason is he did it to protect his family.
And David, even there, elevating it to a felony, it's a 5-year statute of limitations. So it ran out also 2 years ago. So I don't get it.
I didn't know that. But the greatest, most egregious election interference in the history of the country is what Alvin Bragg is doing now. He's totally derailed on both sides of the aisle the election campaign. And the reason that I don't think Trump's supporters would be troubled by a non-disclosure agreement with a porn star is because they've rallied to his support. Now it's big national news, and it's lurid the way they present 34 charges, but his supporters are standing by him because they understand that the Democrat Party is a party of gangsters that are destroying our democracy, and that they hate Trump because they can't beat him.
Inflation has consequences. As the Fed raises interest rates to combat out-of-control government spending, long-term bonds have diminished in value, crippling banks. Depositors are holding their breath, and investors are bailing on bank stocks. Diversification, therefore, has never been more important. The recent surge in gold prices is directly tied to the extreme market volatility right now. This is why gold has historically been a great hedge against the stock market and against inflation. Now would be a great time to diversify into gold with Birch Gold Group. Birch Gold makes it easy to convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in precious metals. Here's what you need to do. Just visit LarryForGold.com to get your free info kit on gold. They'll help you convert your existing IRA or 401k that's tied to a volatile market into an IRA in physical precious metals, gold and silver. And the best part, it's tax sheltered. So visit LarryForGold.com to claim your free info kit on gold today. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy, satisfied customers, and countless 5-star reviews, Birch Gold is who you can trust to protect your future. Visit LarryForGold.com today. That's LarryForGold.com today. And David, even the New York Times, in an article some time ago, called the linking of this otherwise misdemeanor to a felony federal statute is a, quote, unproven legal theory, end of quote. Alvin Bragg comes into the office in 2022 and apparently decides not to pursue the charges, as I mentioned a moment ago. That prompted 2 assistant DAs to resign, one of whom writes this book. The FEC, which is the violation that Donald Trump allegedly broke, voted 4-1 not to pursue charges. The DOJ decided not to pursue charges. And Cyrus Vance, Alvin Bragg's predecessor at the Manhattan DA's office, decided not to pursue charges. All of a sudden, Bragg, having said, I'm not going to pursue charges, does a 180 and then indicts Donald Trump. Honestly.
He's an embarrassment, except that the whole Democratic Party is an embarrassment at this point. This is very dangerous stuff. Our country is suffering from one major thing, which is lawlessness. And it's all in the lap of the Democrat Party. They have no respect for the law. They don't enforce the law. Why do we have a crime wave in our cities? It's because they refuse to enforce the law. Why do we have 5 million sex traffickers, cartel members, and other undetermined people pouring into our country illegally? Because Joe Biden destroyed the the border laws, which was an illegal and unconstitutional move. He's not a legislator. That's the problem. And
David, speaking of double standards, you have a credible allegation that Bill Clinton raped Juanita Broaddrick. No charges. You have a credible allegation that Bill Clinton sexually assaulted Kathleen Willey in the Oval Office. No charges. He claims that Paula Jones lied when she said she was a victim of a sexual battery. He settles the case for $800,000. No charges. Hillary, an unsecured server in her basement, a clear violation of the Espionage Act, which does not require intent. James Comey does his big presentation and then says, yeah, but she lacked the intent. And as Megyn Kelly says, nothing going on with Hunter Biden or with James Biden or the payments made to the widow of his son.
We're crying out tears. For 30 years, he's been feeding the Chinese, building up China, our mortal enemy. The Biden families received, what, 3 million? We know 1 out of 12 of their bank records shows that they recently received $3 million to family members. For what? What could it be except influence peddling? And when you look at this travesty, every time Joe Biden opens his mouth, it's to lie that this balloon was actually, which he could have figured out while it was up there, was obviously getting something worth being up there for.
Now, in this case, David, there's going to be obviously a motion to have the whole thing dismissed. And but if it isn't dismissed, it goes to trial. You're talking about a Manhattan jury. Manhattan voted 87% in favor of Joe Biden, only 12% in favor of Trump. And there's some areas, one district in Manhattan where 99% of the voters voted for Joe Biden, only 1% voted for Donald Trump. So I would not think it was going to be difficult to find 12 people who hate Donald Trump who will in fact find him guilty.
They already found 12 at the grand jury.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, assuming he gets found guilty, is it your view that on appeal it'll be thrown out?
I can't say anything because our country is being run by criminals. I meant that literally, not figuratively. Destruction of the southern border by Joe Biden was completely illegal. He doesn't have the authority to change the immigration law. He changed it by not enforcing it. And he's killed a lot of little kids. I mean, the thing that gets me is the hypocrisy of the Democrats. And we talk about double standards. That's sort of nice. When Trump, for 2 months, he tried to deport illegals. And in order to process them, they had to put them in jail cells and separate them from their kids who were taken care of by border guards in cages that Obama built. They went nuts. He's ripping babies out of the arms of their mothers and so forth.
Right.
Now we have 200,000 unaccompanied minors that he's invited into the country. They're drowning in the Rio Grande. They're being raped in the desert. I mean, they're being trafficked into sex slavery. And there's not one Democrat who seems to give a damn. How can you respect these people? I can't.
Last thing, David. How will this affect Trump politically during the primaries? Assuming Donald Trump becomes the nominee, how will it affect him in the general?
I think he's going to run away with the nomination. People forget he got 75 million votes in an election rigged against him. So we know he got more. That's more votes than anybody who had ever run for president got before him. If you believe that Joe Biden got 80 million votes from the basement, I got a bridge to tell you.
David Horowitz, Freedom Center. David, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. Whoa, what's this? I have a pair of my slippers in my baby brown libertarian fingers. Look at this. Aren't they beautifully designed? They come in different colors. And if you don't like this design, there is another design to choose from. And this is the brand new, hot off the presses, My Pillow 2.0. even more comfortable to sleep on than the original. All you have to do is call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. And this is a 6-pack set of MyPillow towels that work, meaning towels that are absorbent. They absorb the water. Isn't that what you want towels to do? Have you noticed, you go to these stores, you see the towels, they're all stacked up there, different colors, they look fluffy, they smell great, but they don't work. They don't absorb the water. These do. They come, of course, in different colors. Finally, this is the MyPillow Giza Dream Bedsheet. Giza is in Egypt. It is the area in the world where the finest cotton is found. Best ever. How do we know this? Mike Lindell scoured the world to find it. Now, they come in different colors. Mine, of course, is white because I am the black face of white supremacy, but you're not. You may want a different color. And of course, they come in different sizes because beds come in different sizes. There are over 100 MyPillow products. Just call the number on your screen or go to mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. That's mypillow.com, promo code ELDER. Now, I know you like the show, so hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We want to get our subscriptions up. And then scroll down and get on our mailing list. Why? Because from time to time, for reasons that we have no idea, YouTube has issues with our videos. To make sure you get all of them and you don't miss any, get on our mailing list. Also, you see that round donate button? Hit that. Throw a little something in the tip jar to make sure we can continue giving you great, hard-hitting, honest programming. Remember, LarryWithEpoch.com, LarryWithEpoch.com. I'm Larry Elder. This has been the Larry Elder Show for Epoch Times. Remember, we've got a country to save, and I will see you next time.